Welcome back. It's Michelle again, and I want to share a few more thoughts about the healthy, indulgent life strategy. But before I do, I want to recommend a few books that I have found really valuable, and you could purchase any of them from my shop. The first of these is Clean by Alejandro Younger, which describes a detox cleanse that's fairly manageable and also gives a lot of good information about the importance of digestive health. Another is Eat, Drink, and Be Healthy. This book has been around for a while, but it remains fantastic, by Dr. Walter Willett from Harvard Medical School. And this really describes the glycemic load, healthful proteins. It really lays out the basis for a healthy, satisfying diet. Food Rules by Michael Pollan, and he's a journalist who has written a lot about healthful eating, is a great one. Additionally, and along the same vein, but much, much longer, is Marion Nestle, or Marion Nestle, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, What to Eat. A very long book where she goes aisle by aisle through the supermarket describing the health benefits and also the politics of food. So it's a fascinating book, not a quick read. A couple of diet books that can be valuable: the Okinawa diet and Volumetrics, both diets that focus on energy density that I was talking about before. And a fascinating psychology book is called Mindless Eating by Brian Wansink, and he shows in this book the way that we can be fooled into eating more or less by things like just having food placed in front of us, and just how easy it is for us to override what we know from our bodies by our environment. So it's a fascinating book with some thoughts on how to trick ourselves into eating more healthfully and how to get back to eating mindfully. So as I was putting these video slideshows together, I started wondering if you might be thinking that my healthful lifestyle is strict or is a deprivation plan. You might be thinking this way if you've been focusing on what I don't eat on a regular basis, that I limit refined carbs, that I limit processed foods, that I limit dairy, and that I don't eat donuts and bagels. I think it's pretty common that when people think about healthful eating, they think about what they can't have. But as I mentioned, and it's worth reiterating, that leads to a deprivation mentality that just won't work. So here are my thoughts about this as a deprivation plan. It's not. First of all, because I allow myself indulgences pretty much whenever I want, not constantly, because I don't want them constantly, but fairly frequently, I don't get myself to feeling deprived. Second, over the years, I've developed more and more of a palate for healthful foods. When I was a teenager, or even in my early 20s, I could not have been able to imagine that I would have any interest in Brussels sprouts. I assumed that I hated them. Nor could I have envisioned my current love affair with braised greens. But I love Brussels sprouts and all kinds of greens now. And along with developing a palate for healthier foods, I've also lost my taste for some really unhealthy calorie bombs like donuts, bagels, and Alfredo sauce. They just don't appeal to me anymore. Some indulgences still do, but some don't. And third, I don't think about what I can't have. Instead, I think about what I choose to have and what I can have. This simple distinction makes a huge difference. There are so many things that I can choose to enjoy, so many delicious foods that I can have. How can I feel deprived? Try it. Try it. Try to speak to yourself in this choice, in this can language, instead of deprivation language. You can learn more about how to talk to yourself in choice and positive language on my psychology page. So now, is this lifestyle perfect? No, but it's not about perfection. It's about reality. Anybody who's tried to sustain the perfect diet only to feel deprived and then to give up and then to feel bad about themselves afterwards and repeating that over and over again knows that a perfect diet can't be followed perfectly, at least for most people. Now, there might be some people who can follow the perfect lifestyle whole hog, but I'm not one of them because sometimes I want a little bit of the hog, if you know what I mean. And would the wellness gurus approve of this lifestyle? Probably not. Chicken parmesan and craft beers are on the food villain lists for many wellness gurus. Wellness gurus who offer little to no flexibility in their approaches, I'm sure, would not endorse my approach. But many of them don't endorse each other's approaches either. There are the plant-based no-meat people, and there are the paleo people, there are the low-carb people, and the low-fat people. And this suggests to me that they can't all be correct. Maybe they all have a grain of truth, and I'll buy into that. To me, the answer is to be sensible, reasonable, thoughtful, and to be educated to some degree, and most of all, again, to be realistic. I don't want to be on a plan that I have to call a diet. As I've mentioned over and over again, that is a setup for failure. The diet industry is so huge because diets often don't work long term. They do work short term, but they don't often work long term. I want to eat in a smart and a satisfying way that I can see myself enjoying forever. That's sustainable, and that's what I do. So if the wellness gurus don't appreciate the healthy, indulgent life, that is fine with me. I'm going to be the well-enoughness guru. So let me wrap this whole thing up by reminding you once again that even though I'm telling you all this great stuff to do, I don't do it perfectly, and you don't have to do it perfectly. The benchmark for success here is not perfection. It's how you feel, how healthy you are, and how satisfied and gratified you are. So welcome to the healthy, indulgent life. It's a really good life.